Welcome to episode 3 of On Air with Beauty Pros. My guest star today is Romina Torres. How you got into the beauty business and what inspired you?
Okay, hi, I'm Romina. I'm 24 years old. I finished cosmetology last year and got my license.
Nice. So you have your cosmetology license. Can you share with us what are the requirements for cosmetology education for those that are interested in that field?
So when I started, it was 1,600 hours, but now it's 1,000 hours. And I finished with over 1,600, and that took 2 years.
And this is what program did you attend?
This was Fullerton College Cosmetology program.
Did you enjoy it? What were the pros and cons, you would say?
Well, for me, the pros were that going to a community college is always cheaper and you get a better experience than going to an all-profit school. The cons were, unfortunately, I had to take a break because it was during COVID, and I still had to do online course instead of being at the school building.
Did you specialize in cosmetology? I know cosmetology is very general and you could do specializations. So did you have a specialty in Cosmo?
Yeah, so with cosmetology, you could do anything. That's why I chose it. So in case I want to switch over to anything else, I could have that. But I specifically like hair removal, so waxing.
Nice. So with waxing, I know so many people, women nowadays, they go wax, but there is other alternatives out there like laser hair remover. Would you prefer waxing or laser hair removal in your opinion?
I mean, I've only ever waxed, but I am looking into getting laser hair removal and also into getting into a program for it.
Interesting. So for those that want to further their training, would they need more certificates? So if they want to be more like a laser technician, they have to get more certificates?
Yeah, so that falls under electrolysis, which is another 600 hours, I believe, and then you'd have to take another test.
And can you still do that at the same program or the same school? Or you could go to another school?
They don't offer it at Fullerton College, but they offer it in other locations.
Interesting. And let's say, so that would be kind of for those that want to work under a company or work for someone else. How about for someone that's they want to just be a solo entrepreneur or just want to work for themselves? So, or someone that wants to open a business, what would you have to do with that for waxing, for example? You need to rent your space, you need to get your equipment.
Yeah, you could always rent a studio or work from home if you don't want to work for anyone else.
And have you thought, you personally, would you like to run your business or work for someone else?
I would like to start off getting experience and working for someone, and then eventually opening my own business.
That's smart, because I've noticed like people in beauty industry have this perception of like, oh, I'm just gonna work by myself or work on my own business right after graduating.
Yeah.
But it takes more
No,
than that.
Yeah.
It's not like right away.
Clientele experience. It, like, beauty industry, it's kind of like networking. You need to, like, know people, take advice from people as well.
Yeah. And it's also like smart to get that knowledge first from someone else, because then you can mess up. You can make mistakes and be like, it's not all on me. Like, you're still gonna be under another company or like under someone else working for them, and like it doesn't look as bad.
Yeah.
Because like for me business. For example, like I'm more like focused on facials, but when I was working for someone else, I felt like I didn't feel as much pressure, like if I messed up in a facial or I didn't do something right. At least when it came to like the financial part of it, it wouldn't be so much on me, but on the owner. Yeah. So like if anything, like they're gonna be the ones losing the money, you know, instead of me. But you just really learn a lot more, like how to operate things behind the scenes. And then you just take like, okay, this is what I could do, this is what I don't want to do, because now you've seen it firsthand from working with someone else. But yeah, with waxing, I think it's the same thing. Like, it depends, because do you want to specialize on specific type of waxing? Because, you know, there could be Brazilians, or they could be like full body waxing. They could
just
be face
everything.
waxing,
I want to offer as much as I can, so like everyone can get what they want. Yeah. So also like even with threading and like Brazilians, full body, underarm, legs. Yeah.
How about sugaring? Would you ever consider
sugaring as well?
Yeah, sugaring is...
Everyone prefers, like...
It's not as painful.
Yeah, they have a specific, like, preference, so it's always good to, like, know everything.
Yeah. So with that, would there be a specific city you'd want to work in the waxing industry? Or you haven't really thought about that yet?
A specific industry?
No, city.
Oh, city.
So, do you want to work more like in the
LA.
inner LA area?
The higher end area.
I see. Have you heard of Seb?
Yeah.
SEB? I see.
Yeah.
I always think of them as like high end, because they're like basically laser hair remover. Yes. But then you need also the credentials.
Yeah.
There's actually one in Irvine. I've seen one in Irvine, and then there's like several locations. That's like the nearest one.
Yeah, there's some in like Hollywood.
Yeah.
Downtown LA. Yeah.
I feel like personally, because I always gone waxing, but eventually I do want to do laser hair removal. Maybe like in another 5 years or so. But I do want to do laser hair removal for the longevity of it. Just so that, you know, I have my waxer girl, but like I've been going to her for like over 5 years now, I think. And it adds up and stuff, but I'm like, okay, at some point I want to stop having to go to an appointment to just do the waxing. Like I actually want to permanently remove my hair. And I mean, it's also genes. Good thing I'm not like super hairy, but it's still one of those things where like even I just taught myself to wax myself so that I don't have to go into appointments. But sometimes like I rather not wax myself and go to my lady,
someone else,
you know,
for you. Yeah.
So there's that freedom of like I could do whatever I want to do with it, but it's also like costly, because if you want to get the laser hair removal, it's like thousands of dollars. So it's really something like you're investing your money into, really.
Yeah, it's worth it in the end.
Yeah. Would you say that, like, more on the educational side, is waxing or laser hair removal, is it healthy for someone to get? Like, is there any, what are like the pros and cons, I guess, of laser hair removal?
I mean, the pros would be that your hair wouldn't grow back.
Yeah.
You'd be smooth. But also, I know it also, like, a con would be, for some people it takes longer, like, depending on their hair texture and, like, how many more sessions they would have to, like, go to. So for some people it would be, like, more expensive. And then also it's, like, it is going, basically your hair follicle is, like, non-existent anymore. So, like, you do have to think about, like, if you really want to do it, and you have to be sure. But that's what I think.
Yeah.
I know also sometimes, like, people get burned.
Yes. Like, what are some crazy wild stories that you've heard?
Honestly,
from laser hair removal?
I haven't. Like,
really?
Everyone I know hasn't had, like, a bad experience. But I've only known, like, 3 people that did laser, I think. So, yeah. I mean, it's probably, like, if you go somewhere, like...
Did they share with you where they get it at? Like, is it laser away?
I'm actually not sure where they've been to.
I've heard one bad story, but it wasn't about laser hair removal. It was about tattoo laser hair removal, and it was with Laser Away company.
Ooh.
And she basically said she paid so much money, and she still has the tattoo. It never, like, went away.
It doesn't go away. It just, like, fades.
Yeah.
Right.
So I get that. And that goes for any service, right? Like, you're paying all money, and then you don't see the result, you know? Yeah. Like, it's... Like, laser hair removal has to be something that if you're going to be paying that much money for, then you need to see the results. Same thing goes with, like, body sculpting or getting a facial. It's like, if you're going to be paying that money, it better be something that, like, you're getting the results that you want.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, like, it's really important to, like, do your research and make sure that you always go to someone that is licensed, like, it actually has that license and can practice that. Because so many people are like, oh, like, I'll do this and that, but they're not as experienced, or they may not have a license.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, is there anything else you plan to do with your license besides waxing and laser hair removal?
For now, I don't think so. That's pretty much what I want to do.
I've always wondered how hair doesn't seem to be, like, such a hard thing to do, like a hairstylist, but it's like, yeah, it is.
It's super time consuming,
because I mean, even you didn't want to, like, do anything related to hair, right?
No,
you don't want to do, like, work in a salon or, like, be a hairstylist, right? You rather do the hair removal over that, because it's
body. I mean,
more hard.
It's still the same with, like, body, because it's like more personal, and you're closer to someone's body, and, like, I do hear, like, gross stories about, like people not wiping or, like, bloody things, or, like, tampon things, just, like, a lot of body odor, like, or fluids.
I've heard stories like that from estheticians that specialize in waxing.
Yeah,
and
horrible.
That, I think that's where you have to really implement your policy and say, don't come in dirty or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've heard some crazy stories too. But I see, like for that example, what would you enforce to your clientele? Like, what would you say?
Be mindful.
Be demure.
I'm just kidding. Be mindful of, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
body odor. Come clean, prepared. So I could do a proper wax.
Right. Weren't you looking into European Wax Center? What would you say are the pros and cons of European Wax Center? I think I do know a few estheticians too that have worked there before. I haven't had much conversation with them to know like how that is, but at least that's a start to building your clientele.
Yeah, that's definitely a start, and they teach you, but then I also hear that they work you like a lot, and they expect things to like be done quickly.
Because one thing about waxing is speed, right?
Yeah,
like,
you have
it's
to
important for you to be speedy with it.
I think it's like 30 minutes or less. Like 25 minutes. Like, that's how long you should take for like a Brazilian or something. Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it's such a workout too, because
it is.
I remember I didn't do the waxing. One of my colleagues did it when I worked with her, and like she would be sweating after being done with like a waxing session, because you had to like move and like move them around, put them into like certain positions. So it's definitely like a toll on you. But it's worth it, because as long as you have those customers that will come back to you, I feel like that's like a win.
Yeah,
like they'll
come
be
back
returning
every like 3 weeks.
And that's the thing, like you always have to come back. Hair is such a thing. It's like self-esteem to a person. Hair could make you have more confidence. Well, what do you say to the people that may have a condition like hair alopecia, is it? Or hair loss, or they are going through like cancer or like chemotherapy? Is there a contraindication is a medical condition or symptom that makes a particular treatment or procedure unsafe for a patient?
Yeah.
Would cancer be a contraindication? Like a cancer survivor? Like, let's say your client's coming in to get underarm waxing or a Brazilian, or legs or arms.
I don't know. I think it depends.
Depends.
Like, if the doctor said it was fine. Because I know, like, with hair,
it's different on the scalp, right?
Yeah, because the chemicals.
Right.
And then, like, with wax, I mean, I don't think there'd be any crazy chemicals in it. But maybe if they have, like if their skin is fragile, then, can't do it. Or, like, if their body can't take the heat.
Right.
Something.
So that's kind of, like, why you need to have a solid, or the company or yourself, you need to have, like, a solid questionnaire for your clients
that they need to fill out.
Yeah.
Right? And they need to sign it.
Information and all that, like their medical history, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
because it is, at the end of the day, even though it's just like beauty and stuff, it does go hand in hand with like medical and like medicine. Like you need to make sure you're also taking good care of them, and while you're performing your service. I mean, I think overall that's what also makes you a good professional, to not be knowing. If you don't know what you're doing, then it's like, why are you doing that, Yeah. You cannot build that trust with your clients. Like, you need to be an expert. And, like, that will come with time. But, like, I think I've had several situations like that where if I'm not sure my client, they have a medical condition or they're on certain medication, I'd rather not service them.
Yeah.
And
just to be sure.
Always, even when I'm touching their face, their skin, I use gloves. I don't use my bare hands, because I think even though they might be healthy, 100% healthy, I'm still gonna
You
use
never
gloves.
know,
I think
yeah.
of them as in like they could have a contagious disease. I know that sounds bad to say, but
That's how
I
you should
feel
think.
yeah, I feel better safe than sorry type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're dealing with people you don't know,
Yeah.
it's like just be safe about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, always clean and sanitize everything. That's really important. It's the same thing with waxing too, because a lot of the equipment you use is disposable. It may like you're not reusing.
Yeah.
Well, the wax you are, but
Well, you don't double dip.
yeah, no double dipping.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
I think
go
you
get
answered.
coffee.
Well, thank you for answering all the questions for today's podcast. I hope to have you on this podcast again and keep me updated in your journey. And I wish you so much success in the industry. I know you'll do great. You're amazing. Well, catch you guys on the next podcast, episode 4. I hope to have either one of my best friends on the show or another esthetician and see their perspective on skincare. So stay tuned. Bye.